Hi, my name is Sasha, this is Sasha Reads, and welcome to my April wrap-up. So in the month of April, I participated in the Magical Readathon hosted by G over at Book Roast. I will leave my April TBR down below. I chose the, what did I choose again? The Dreamwalker calling. So that means I had to do 7 prompts. I think it's 6 prompts. But then I did 2 extra prompts. I can't remember why. Anyway, I had 8 prompts for Dreamwalker. I also did some quests as well. So all up, I read 16 books in April. I thought that was really well done for me. I thought like 14 books was a fluke in March, so reading 16 books in April just has really cemented that I'm probably going to be reading a lot more this year, or at least right now anyway. I read 16 books. I read a total of over 5,000 pages. I've got 4,964 here, but that's just because one of the books on my wrap up, it doesn't have any pages, like on Goodreads, and it was a Kindle book, so it doesn't say how many pages either. It was definitely over 40 pages. So that's why I'm saying over 5,000 pages all up. Favorite book of the month was A Court of Silver Flames. I did a dedicated reading vlog to that, so I'll link that up above for you and I'll link it down below. So if you want to go watch that and just watch me like squeal over Nesta, then do that. Worst book I read was The Death of Vivek Ogee. I actually have a reading vlog of this book as well. I did a read a Quakey Amizi books. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, definitely watch them. I'll link it down below as well for you. And it wasn't a bad book, it was just I read lots of great books this month and Vivek Ogee just wasn't it for me. So yeah, I read 5 books that had authors of colours, but 4 authors of colour all up. I had 6 5-star reads, 7 4-star reads, and 3 3-star reads. So just a really good reading wrap up all round. So let's get into it. For the shape-shifting prompt, which was Creature with Claws in the cover, I know on my TBR I said I was going to read Wonder Smith, but I ended up just feeling like I need a reread of my comfort read of all time, my favourite book of all time. That is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas. I was just not feeling the greatest, so I reread this book and just Rhysand and Feyre and meeting the Inner Circle and Valaris and the cereal and the bone cover, like just going back into the world and just hanging out with them again. I just felt so much better. So this was a reread. Obviously gave it 5 out of 5 stars. For the alchemy prompt, which was read a book featuring romance, I read Not My Type by Evie Mitchell. This was a 5-star read. This was absolutely gorgeous. There was so much representation in it, as well as like knowledgeable stuff as well. So you've got Frankie and Jay, right? So Frankie is obviously in a wheelchair and she does this podcast where basically she gives you like information about different topics for people with accessibility needs. Does that make sense? She gets a question on her podcast about like rope play and shinigami, I think is the term. She wasn't quite sure about it. Does some sussing out and she finds out that Jay does a class on it at a school in the town. Like she goes to the lesson and she talks to Jay about it, and then Jay like says that he'll teach her more stuff and like be a guest on the podcast and stuff, and they start a little like romance, and I thought that was really cute. There was a miscommunication through the past, from the past, that came in the forefront, and I was not a really big fan of that because I hate miscommunication, but I really enjoyed this. I can't wait to read the next book, which is about one of the friends and her ex-boyfriend, so a second chance romance. One scene in this book that I absolutely loved, right? So Jay has like this issue with like people leaving him, right? One time Frankie was at his house, they were having dinner with his family, and she just disappears, and he's like freaking out. It's like, no, I knew it, like she never loved me, blah blah blah. And he goes outside and sees that she is like rolling away, and he's like, what the fuck's going on, blah blah blah. And she's like getting all flustered, and he's like, what? And she's like, your bathroom's not big enough for my wheelchair to go to the toilet, so I have to go down to the rec center. And Jay's like, oh. And so he goes and gets a friggin' sledgehammer and breaks down the walls in his bathroom. Just for Frankie. I'm like, that is the cutest thing. And the spice in this was probably about maybe 3 out of 5. It was quite cute, but not like curl your toes sort of spice. I then read My Mechanical Romance by Alexi Farrell-Fullmouth, which is Olivia Blake's pen name. Olivia Blake wrote The Atlas Six. So My Mechanical Romance is a YA contemporary, and it was the cutest thing. I got an arc of it on NetGalley. It's about these 2 high schoolers. Girl, something has happened. Basically, her parents split up over the summer, and she's like senior year. She's not really like doing anything for college and stuff because she needs to stay home. She wants to stay closer to her mom. But then one of the teachers is like, something happened and she like wasn't getting an A for one of her tests or in a class. And the teacher's like, look, if you join the higher physics class, try out for their robotics team, then I'll give you an A or something like that. And so she does that, and the leader of the robotics team, who is pretty like an asshole, not because he means to be, just because he's straightforward. And if you don't have anything to contribute, he will tell you that and he'll tell you to move on. He's not about wasting around, basically fluffing around. When she tries out for the robotics team, he's like, you're it, like you're in. And she like has no idea how to use the system or anything. She does it all by hand because she's like all self-taught. Anyway, so it's about their romance, and there was something happened at the start which made them not really get along, but that was just a bit of miscommunication as well. But they're teenagers, so I was like, I'll let it slide. But I did give this one 4 out of 5 stars because I thought it was a really fun YA. Like, I'm not a big fan of YA contemporary anymore, but this one was really fun and I really was invested. And there was one line in it. Do I have my phone? The chick's parents has broken up, right? And she's like how are you supposed to love someone who's a villain in someone else's story? And that just hit me hard as a child of divorce. You should really pick it up when it comes out this month. I then read Freshwater by Okwaki Mizi and gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This was a weird novel. Like I said, I do have a dedicated reading vlog to this book, so if you want to watch it, I will link it up above for you. It's about this girl who was like born with these spirits inside of her going through life, and it was like, it's not written in linear time. Like, it goes back and forth and it goes back, and she's like, oh, it's really hard to explain, but I really enjoyed it. There was one particular like spirit I really liked who I thought was top notch. But yeah, if you want all my thoughts, like, go watch that vlog. I then read Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. This was for the prompt top of my TBR, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's about this girl who has been sent to like juvie basically because she set a guy on fire. It's about her like breaking out and trying to get back to her dad who lives in Colombia, and then it's also a story about how her parents had met and how they moved from Colombia to the States. All the issues through there, like being non-documented. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I probably would have given it 5 stars if I had probably read it all in one sitting. I did start it in January and finished it in April, so that's, if I'd read it all in one sitting, I probably would have really enjoyed it a lot more. But like, my star ratings are more like the vibes I get from it, more like and how much I enjoyed it. I think the main character in Infinite Country, like she, like the daughter, she was really like, she was a badass. I really enjoyed her character. But then yeah, learning about the parents and how like, yeah, how they got together was just really interesting as well. I then read A Ruin of Roses by K.F. Breen. This was for the read a book with a trope you like. This is enemies to lovers, like a Beauty and the Beast retelling of a dragon shifter and this village girl. It was weird. I also read this for the Fire Reading Witch Queens book club, and yeah, there were other people like, man, this is weird. I'm like, yeah. Steals like this healing plant from the dragon princess garden because people are getting sick in her village, so she uses it to heal people, and like her dad was getting real sick, so she steals that. And then the dragon prince comes in and was like, you need to come back with me because, or I'll kill you, because that's like the thing, the promise or whatever. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. But she doesn't realize it's the dragon prince. I'm like, you're so stupid. Like, that's obviously him. Oh, and the village girl, she's actually a dragon shifter as well, but because there's like this like evil magic over the county or whatever, she doesn't shift anymore. Like, no one shifts anymore except for this dragon prince. But he's not really like a majestic dragon anymore. He's like more like this like really ugly lizard thing now. And I gave this 3 stars. Yeah, like I said, I think I was just reading it for the sake of reading it. I wasn't really like, some things that were so friggin' weird, and like the spice wasn't even that spicy. I thought it was gonna be spicier, but apparently like this is her like spiciest novels, and like it's not even that spicy. But if you like Beauty and the Beast retellings, definitely give it a shot. If you like, I am going to continue on with this story just because I want to know what will happen next. I then read The Death of Vivek Ogee by Ogee and gave this one 3 stars just because I had no idea what was going on, to be honest. Like, so it's about this boy who dies, and it's about like his parents meeting and then him growing up and questioning his sexuality and who he is as a person. Okay, I'm gonna spoil it, so if you are going to read this book, then read it. But basically, I'm out of focus. He grows up with his cousin, right? And him and his cousin are really close, like they call each other brother. Halfway through the book, they get together and they fall in love. And I don't know what that's about. Like, was I supposed to be like, oh, like I'm glad they got together, or I'm like I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I don't know why everyone like loved this book. I don't know why everyone's crying over this book. I had no idea what's going on, and I'm like, maybe it's like, maybe because I did not grow up in that country. I think was it Nigeria? It just, the vibes, the enjoyment just was not, it was not it. So that's why I gave 3 out of 5 stars. And I'm sorry. I really wanted to like it, but I couldn't. I just didn't. I'm sorry. I then read She Who Became the Sun by Shirley Parker Chan. 5 out of 5 stars. This was a brilliant novel. I loved this book so much. So this is a reimagining of how the Ming Dynasty came to fruition, and it's about this girl whose father and brother dies, and she takes the brother's name because obviously being a girl back then, like if you didn't have a father or brother, like you're gonna die. Hi. So she takes her brother's name, and she's like, well, because I'm taking his name, maybe I will get his destiny, and everyone's gonna know his name, so everyone's gonna know my name basically. So she goes to the monastery to become a monk because you have to be a boy to be a monk. Really enjoyed it. I have a vlog for this one too if you want to read it, watch it. There's a weekend reading vlog, I'll link that. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year. I then read A Quarter Wings and Ruin and A Quarter Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. These were rereads for me as well. I ended up using these for different prompts. I think this one was for read a book over 500 pages, and then Frost and Starlight wasn't for a prompt, but I wanted to reread it. I've never reread A Quarter Wings and Ruin, and reading it, like, I saw things I didn't notice before. I would love to see more in Lyrian Leathers. I thought that was the coolest thing. But yes, I reread this in that weekend reading vlog as well, so go check it out if you like. And then Quarter Frost and Starlight is the novella, like the joining novella between Wings and Ruin and Silver Flamed, and it's kind of like a Christmas book. I then read Neon Gods for the prompt Lore Read a Book About Mythology. This is a Hades and Persephone's retelling, kind of based in modern times, and I really enjoyed this. Like, I can see the similarities between Mist and Fury and Neon Gods, because Mist and Fury was a Hades and Persephone's retelling. I really enjoyed this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Hades is just chef's kiss, and the way he like got Persephone out of her shell, and then also like showed her like the underworld and everything, like it was so cute. I really enjoyed this book. I then read the Stoneheart novella, which is the prequel to this book, and it's about Calypso and Medusa, and that was really cute. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Like, 1 because it was sapphic, and 2, like, I just love those two together. Calypso's such a himbo. And then I read Hades and Hades, which is the sequel novella to this. So it's about this Hades and the Hades from Katie Roberts' Wicked Villain series, and how they're connected. So definitely read that. I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars as well. I don't really want to talk about that one because that will spoil things. And then I read The Dragon's Bride by Katie Roberts as well. That's a monster romance about this girl who makes a deal with the devil, basically, to get away from her husband who beats her. So for him to do that, she has to sign a contract to marry someone from their world for the next 7 years, and the dragon like bids on her and wins. So it's about the dragon and the girl, and it was alright, like 4 out of 5 stars. There was some, like, she just, like, I know, like, she's just got out of a, like, DV relationship, and, like, the dragon was like, okay, it's alright, like, I'll let you, like, work that out. But she just was, like, not giving him anything, and I'm like, mate, like, you guys are married, like, do something. Like, but yeah, the spice was pretty spicy, but that's what you get for Katie Roberts. Like, she writes spice scenes so well. And then I read my favorite book of the month, and that was A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. This is about Nestor and Cassian. I have a dedicated reading blog to this book as well, so I will link that up above and down below for you. There's so many things in this book that I absolutely love. Like, I'm definitely a Nestor stan now. Like, I'm pretty sure Silver Flames, yeah, Silver Flames is my favorite book so far. Sorry, Mr. Fury, like, resend, I'll always love you, but this is where it's at. This is where it's at. Last but not least, I read The Pale Dreamer by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel novella to the Bone season trilogy series, and basically I just read this because I still had to read something that was set in the future, and it was the last day of April, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, so because I wasn't going to finish the sci-fi that I was reading. So this one was alright. Like, I'm not sure if I was supposed to know what was going on. Like, don't know if I was supposed to read the Bone season before I read The Pale Dreamer. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars because it was so short. But I think if I read the Bone season, I'll probably understand a couple more things about it. So hopefully I'll start the Bone season soon. So these are all the books that I read in, well, these are some of the books that I read in April. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below what your favorite book of the month was. I would love to know. But yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more by me. You can also add me on Goodreads and Instagram and Twitter. I'm at SashReads. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye!